These are my dahlia tubers, which have been growing nicely in pots here in the polytunnel. It's now the middle of May, so that it's time now in the UK to begin to get these into the ground. So I'm going to be prepping these dahlia plants ready to go in the ground, and there's a job or two to do while we do that. And one of the important things to do with a dahlia, almost always, you'll want to do this, and not absolutely always, but almost always, is to prep the shoots to make ongoing growth bushier. And there's various ways of, or various decisions that you'll have to make in order to decide on where to do the pinching out, and whether to take some extra stems off so that there's fewer stems, and those decisions are what this video is about. I've actually distilled it down into very simple rules which can be followed. There's lots and lots of other ways and lots of other methods. None of them are exclusively right, and but this I thought is simple for if you're not quite sure whether you want to pinch out here or pinch out there, and whether you're going to allow all the shoots or very few of the shoots to develop. And this is my simple rule of thumb. So I've called it the rule of threes, 3 simple rules, and they boil down to that your plant should be, first of all, at least 3 inches high, and this is from the where it emerges from the tuber to the growing point, and that your plant should be at least 3 inches high in order to follow these rules. And the second rule is that I'm going to, in this case, allow for 3 shoots to develop. You can see that this plant here has got 3 shoots developed from its tuber. And there are other plants where there are more shoots which have developed. This one here has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shoots emerging from that tuber. So I'll want to limit those to 3. When there's less than 3, like for instance this plant has got 2 shoots emerging from that tuber, then there's nothing to be done as far as limiting the number of shoots is concerned. So the second rule of threes is to allow up to 3 shoots to develop and no more. And if there are more, then I'm going to simply remove the weaker shoots. You can see this plant here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shoots emerging there, 3 of them looking nice and strong, and the others are rather weak. But if I'm following my rule of threes, then I'm going to remove all but the 3 strongest shoots there. That's exactly what we'll do in this video. And the third rule of 3 is to pinch out every stem after the 3rd true leaf. So let's just have a look at this one. The bottom leaf there, in the middle of the camera now, is not a true leaf. It's not the proper shape. It's just a single leaf emerging from its petiole, whereas the proper leaves have got 3 leaves emerging from one petiole. Just to call me a liar, this one's got 2 single leaves at the bottom. So I'll put that down and find one with some improper leaves, so to speak, not true leaves, and then true leaves. So right, I'm getting in a mess here because this has got a petiole with 3 leaves, but in fact it's not a true leaf, not what I'm calling a true leaf. So I think if we say, for a rule of thumb, you can ignore the bottom leaf and count 3 up after that. and then pinch the plant out above the third set of leaves, third set of 2 leaves. So that's my rule of 3. The third rule of 3 is to pinch out every stem after the third set of true leaves, and that will stimulate bud growth in the buds below that, which have been previously suppressed by the apical dominant shoot. It's going to allow the shoots lower down than where the pinching out was done to start to develop, and therefore, whereas previously there was 1 shoot, there will now be 2 shoots. And often there are the shoots below the top leaves will also grow, so we may have 4 shoots. And I'll just say, is this a hard and fast rule that you must apply in every case for every dahlia? Absolutely not. If you're a seasoned dahlia grower and you know exactly what you want in the way of dahlia conditioning before you put them in the ground, then of course I'm not here to say that you mustn't do that. I'm just saying that my simple rule of 3s is one way to get past the early phase of being unsure of what to do, and this simple set of 3 rules will get you by until you become more expert and you can make your own decisions about what's the best thing to do with your dahlias. Okay, so let's go ahead. So here's my first set. We've got 9 wine-eyed gills here, all growing nicely, and we're going to take them one by one and apply my set of 3 simple rules to them. Okay. And these are the tools I've got today. It's just one very sharp pruning knife and some sterilizing fluid. This is hydrogen peroxide. So after each batch of a variety that I've trimmed, I'll just make sure that I'm lessening the chance of transmitting a virus by using hydrogen peroxide on the blade, like so. So let's have a look at this first one. So our first rule of 3 is to ask the question, is this plant 3 inches tall between the base of the first shoot, between the base of the shoot and the growing tip? The answer for this one, no, it isn't, so this can go straight back. So here is the next plant, and we can say the first rule of 3s is that we've got a plant here which is more than 3 inches tall, so we're ready to do whatever we have to for this plant. So if you remember, the second rule was to allow 3 stems to develop. It could be 4, it could be 5, it could be 6, it could be 7. If you know what you're doing, then you can apply your own rules, but this simple rule is I'm going to allow 3 shoots to develop. The plant will then have enough space around the base to breathe, and the soil system will be able to support 3 good shoots. As time goes on later on, we'll get more and more shoots because we'll do more and more pinching out above this level, so that we will produce a plant which has got plenty of shoots, each with a flower on. So don't worry about having only 3 shoots to start with. The plant will become bushy as time goes on. So let's look at how many shoots we've got here. We're going to apply our simple rule of allowing only 3 shoots to develop, and we count them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and therefore what we'll do is pick one of these shoots to remove. And in general you would pick the weakest shoot, but also a shoot which is in the best position to remove, so far as making the plant into a better shape once it's gone. That doesn't properly apply here, but the 3 largest shoots are this one here, and this one here, which leaves this one in the middle as being the choice for the shoot to remove. So I'm going to use my sharp blade I'm going to cut as close as possible to the tuber without going into the tuber if possible. So I hope you can see where this cut is going to be made. I've cut away from the stem that I'm going to keep in case there's an accident and I go through the one I'm cutting and accidentally cut into the next stem along. So I'm going to make a cut as low down as possible and as close to the tuber as possible. This blade should be sharp enough to allow me to do this without traumatizing the plant too much. It's quite a hefty stem. So I'm having to apply quite a bit of pressure. Just damaging the tuber a little bit. So I've removed my fourth shoot. Now if I wanted to, I could just plant that into some medium. Probably take the growing tip off and we've got ourselves another dahlia, which will perhaps flower this year. It probably would. I tend to cut it off at a node, cut the growing tip off, maybe reduce the amount of leaves present, like so. And if I plant that in some medium, it will almost certainly start to root nice and early on in the season, so I'm going to have myself a new dahlia if I wanted to. In this case, I won't. So we've done the first job, or the second job rather, or rather we've applied the second rule, which is to allow 3 good stems to develop, and they're going off in different directions, so this is going to be a nice strong plant for me. And so the last rule is to allow, is to make a cut in the stem, the pinching out cut, 3 true leaves up from on the stem. 3 true leaves up on the stem. This is not a true leaf. This is not a true leaf. You can see it's a different shape. It's a single leaf rather than the other adult leaves have 3 leaflets each. So this is not a true leaf, so I'm not going to count that. I'm going to count this as the first one, this is the second one, and I hope you can see in there is the third one. Just behind this finger that's moving now is the third set of true leaves. So the stem just above that, I'm going to cut away. So we've removed the growing stem, 3 true leaves along the stem. Let's do the same with the next one. Oh, that is a true leaf. Yes, that's a true leaf. 1, 2, 3. So this area here, I'm saying that's a true leaf. It is 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to cut this stem there. Not a true leaf. 1, 2, 3. So this recently developed leaf here is my third leaf, third set of 2 leaves. So in between there is my shoot, which I'm removing. 3 true leaves and remove the shoots. That plant is now ready to go into the ground. Let's find the next example. Here's the next one, and if we apply our rules from top to bottom. First rule, is it 3 inches tall? Yes, it definitely is. Second rule, we allow 3 shoots to develop if there are 3 shoots to start with. In this case, there are 2 shoots, and therefore there's nothing else to do on that one. And the third rule is that we allow 3 sets of leaves, 3 sets of true leaves. So this is not a true leaf. It's a different shape to the others, the adult leaves, notice. Different shape. So not a true leaf, true leaf, true leaf, true leaf. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3. So just above the third set of true leaves, we're going to make our cut. Okay, and the second stem, not a true leaf, 1, true leaf 2, true leaf 3, just above the third true leaf, we're going to make a cut. That plant is now ready to go in the ground. We've got 2 shoots developing, and that's fine, they'll do well. If we have 1 shoot developing, that would do fine as well. So we're going to allow up to 3 shoots to develop and no more. Let's get the next plant. So here we are. First job, is it over 3 inches tall? Yes it is. So we can proceed. We're going to allow for 3 shoots to develop, our second rule. And here we've got 3 big ones here. 1 quite large one here. And a smaller one there. So we'll take the smaller one away first. Once again, we could plant that if we wanted. It would take root and we'd have a new plant. And we've now got 3 together and 1 out here separate. So what I would propose to do is to take the least developed of these 3, so that we've then got 3 shoots developing, and they're at a distance from each other so that they can develop into their own space. So I'm going to take the middle one of these 2. I don't have an issue with access, and I can get to it without damaging the other shoots, but it is possible. I'm going to go through there. This is an example of where I could have left that last shoot and we'd have 4 shoots developing, which is perfectly okay. But I've got my rules and I'm going to stick to them. So, I've taken away our 3rd shoot. It's a nice, healthy bit of plant, that, isn't it? I feel inclined to plant that, actually. I really do. So this plant's now ready. You can see already that it's beginning to look more shapely. We've got 3 shoots developing out into their own space. Beg your pardon, there's 1 more shoot to do. 1, 2, 3 true leaves, not a true leaf, sorry. 1, 2, 3, and just in there is our shoot just above the 3rd set of true leaves. So I'm going to take that out. When they're so close like that, you can leave them until they develop a bit more and then take you and do your pinching out. There's a risk of damaging the tissues below if you're a bit too close to the node. Next plant. And there we have it, a few weeds growing. Because I've reused soil to some degree, we're using reused soil. Let's see what we've got. Two nice big fat shoots and one shoot coming here. And you can see it down inside there. There's another small shoot coming, so I'm going to leave that alone and let that develop if it wants to. Third rule, 3 sets of true leaves. Not a true leaf, true leaf, true leaf, true leaf. 3 sets of true leaves. Cut the stem just above. Not a true leaf, true leaf, 1, 2, 3, just above. Cut the developing stem. Job's done. Here's the next one. These are all the same variety. These are wine-eyed Jill. So I'm just going to probably speed up a bit now so we can get the job done. But let's see how many. We've got 3 inches tall, so we can proceed. We've got 3 stems already, 3 shoots already developing, 1, 2, 3. Therefore there's nothing more to do there. And then the third thing is we're going to look at each shoot and see whether we've got 3 sets of true leaves, and if we have, we're going to take the shoot just above it so that the shoots below that can develop, so that we'd get, for each cut we make, we do 1 cut and we get 2 stems developing, sometimes 4 because the ones below develop as well. You can actually see in there the nodes where these shoots are trying to develop, but they're not developing the vestigial because of what we call apical dominance, which is that the apex of the plant up here is where all the growing is going on, and while it's growing like that, it's producing hormones which will suppress growth of shoots lower down. There are a number of different hormones. Auxins is the most commonly named one. And there's auxins which suppress and auxins which do the opposite and stimulate. So these auxins produced at the tip of the growing plant, in the case of a dahlia here, will be suppressing growth of the buds below it. So once we remove that apex, we remove the suppression, the auxin suppression, so that the shoots below it can then grow and will grow. Not true leaf, 1, 2, 3. So in there is our shoot for dividing. There we go. Not a true leaf, true leaf, true leaf. This is not ready because the third set of true leaves is up here, so I can't get in there to cut my shoot. So that's as much as I can do on that plant. Is it 3 inches tall? Yes. How many stems have we got? 1, 2, 3. Let's go on to the last stage, which is to reduce the stem to 3 true leaves length. 1, 2, 3. So there's the third set. I can just about see the stem above the third set of leaves. Am I going to risk it, that I don't damage the tissue below? Yes. That's really the limit of the pinching out process. It's really, you can't pinch out a smaller piece of stem than that. True leaf, because it's got 3 leaflets. True leaf, true leaf, true leaf, which is 3, and I'm going to cut above the third. Not a true leaf, 1, true leaf 2, true leaf 3, cut above it. That's ready. So this is our next contender. 3 inches long? Yes, it is. 3 shoots, Well, we've got more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a new one coming there. I'll take that new one away, just with my fingers, and now we'll decide which of these 4 stems I'm going to sacrifice to allow for better development of the future plant. And on a space count, I'm going to remove this one in the middle here, because then it will allow 3 others which are on the sort of angles of a triangle, so that they'll develop off nicely into space, into their own space. So I'm going to take this middle one here as close as I can to the tuber without damaging the tuber. There we have it. There's our lovely cutting. Ooh, don't you want to plant that? That one's ready. Is it ready? No, it's not. Not a true leaf, true leaf, true leaf, true leaf, and right in there. Right in there is our growing shoot, which we can remove without traumatizing the rest. Yes. But this one here, truly 1, 2, 3, there's not enough growing shoot in there, or actually there is just about, yes. It's just about enough growing shoot in there for me to be able to take that and not damage the rest of the tissues. So there it is. Let's look at the next one. So this next one is the next variety, which is Cabana banana. And like I said at the beginning, I'm going to sterilize my blade in case there were any particularly viral diseases present in the first batch. I don't want to transmit them onto the next batch. So I've used a bleach-like solution to sterilize the blade. So let's have a look at the next one. It's nice and tall, and second job is to see how many stems there are and remove all but the healthiest 3. If you can see there in the camera, 1, 2, 3, 4 stems. The least healthy looking stem, or the least developed stem, is this one here, so I'm going to take that. So we've got now 3 nice healthy stems developing, 3 shoots, and we're going to apply the last rule. Not a true leaf, true leaf, true leaf number 2, true leaf number 3, cut the stem above the true leaf number 3. This stem here, shoot here, that's the first true leaf, although it's partially developed for the first. So that's 1 true leaf, 2 true leaves, 3 true leaves, cut the stem. And the last one, not a true leaf, true leaf 1, true leaf 2, true leaf 3, cut the stem. Job done. This is a Cabana banana with only 1 shoot, so there's nothing more to be done on reducing shoots. All we have to do is pinch out the plant at the correct height. 1 true leaf, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Not a true leaf. 1, 2, 3, cut. So I'm going to get on and do the rest of them as time goes on. If I find any that's got a particular example, a lesson, then I'll switch the video back on and we'll have a look at that and we'll see what we do with it. So here's an example of a plant that's not yet 3 inches tall, because if you remember, the 3 inches is from where the longest shoot develops up until the end of the growing tip, which is there. So that's not quite 3 inches tall. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. 1, 2, 3. So there we have it. I've developed a simple rule to deal with my pinching out my dahlias before I put them into the ground, and every one of my 180 dahlias that I'll be planting up over the next few days have had similar treatment. I've limited them all to 3 stems, 3 shoots, and I've pinched out above the 3rd set of true leaves. So these plants are now looking rather simpler, and I hope they're able to develop into plants with a good production of cut flowers and less in the way of problems of overcrowding and such. So I hope you found some use in that video, and I look forward to seeing you for the next video. Bye for now.